Live from Lincoln and broadcasting across the state of Nebraska, it's the Average Joe Sports Show. This is the place for Husker sports with the biggest names, the best interviews, and all the inside scoops.
I got a front row seat with a big tub of buttered popcorn and a greasy half-live chicken leg.
Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it, Monday edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel is quick hit before I got to get on the road. Vegas, baby. Big Ten Media Days coverage here on the Average Joe Sports Show all day. Tomorrow, Nebraska Day, Ohio State Day. Some say Illinois Day. Some will say Sig Day, as Schmidty in Indiana are going to be applauded. And we'll be there Tuesday and the Average Joe Sports Show Wednesday with day 2 coverage. Bill Dolman, the Pride of Fairbury, going to be on site with me. Elijah, God love you. You're back in studio handling this, anchoring this, co-hosting this. Many hours tomorrow, many hours Wednesday, but we love it, man. It's football season officially.
The hours are worth it, Schmidty. I mean, you're probably even in more hell than I am right now, considering you just got back from Europe. You're adjusting to jet lag, and now you're back on the road going out to Vegas, to Sin City, where the lights never shut off in Vegas. So I'm worried about you. I'll be fine. It's fun, long days in here because we got to talk to some of the best in college football. I mean, not just the Nebraska contingent. We got to talk to some national media folks, some of our favorite folks to get caught up with. So it's an exciting couple of days, and it really is that symbol that football is here. I mean, I know we had SEC media days and Big 12 media days. We had plenty to talk about out of those. But once Big 10 media days roll around, I mean, fall camp gets going next week. It's just that real symbol. You know what? It's go time. Let's rock and roll with it.
So a couple of interesting notes. Some of our normal staples at Big Ten Media Days. Bill Bender, of course, with the sporting news. He's going to be at ACC Media Days.
That's a choice.
Well, from a vicinity standpoint, I guess I'd be there for Clemson too.
Clemson, let's not forget about SMU.
SMU, Miami's got high hopes this year. We'll get into the high hopes of the Big Ten teams when it comes to the preseason Big Ten media poll that's out. You also have the reality of just what is the Big Ten going to be? And Elijah, without further ado, let's set up Tim Verghese coming up to hit recruiting here next segment in hour 2. Mr. Blackshirt himself, Charlie McBride, going to be with us, and then Blackshirt Husker NFLer Jay Moore. Jay, part of the Blackshirt Hour at 5:25. So look forward to that, and I'll get back on when I can, when we land. But Elijah, the preseason Big Ten poll for the first time in a long time. You've got Penn State, Adam Rittenberg posting the KOTN CFB poll. There's 2 out there. There's a Cleveland Plain Dealer one as well. But Penn State 35, almost doubling up Ohio State as the pick to win the Big Ten. Penn State played a tough, hard-fought battle. Lost in the semis to Notre Dame last year. Ohio State won the whole bleeping thing despite the hiccup against Michigan, despite the hiccup against Oregon, and then Oregon getting 1 vote in at 3. That top 3 seems pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's the same from Cleveland.com. Penn State in at first, Ohio State second, Oregon third. It should be noted with Cleveland.com's poll, the first place voting was much closer. Penn State gets 11 first place votes, Ohio State 10. So it's very close right there. And also in Cleveland.com's poll, Michigan got a first place vote, which is something.
Which is, this is what wows me. You want to talk about a shifting Big Ten? You want to talk about momentum and beyond the flavor? How about the pig farmer in Illinois coming in at number 4 ahead of a Michigan, ahead of a USC. Now, they should be, based on what's returning, based on what they did last year, based on how they played Michigan head-to-head, honestly. But you don't often or ever see Illinois in a 4 spot, in a top 4, but many of us are expecting that.
I mean, it's almost the difference that you have with Penn State. They're first, but I mean, based on their roster, you would think they'd be runaway favorites.
Quarterback, running game, offensive and defensive line.
Best offensive line, I think, in the Big Ten. The best running back duo, a probably likely first-round pick at quarterback. They brought in new wide receiver talent via the transfer portal. I mean, that roster has what you need to go out and win in the Big Ten and potentially run the table in the Big Ten. The doubt being their head coach. James Franklin, you don't know how he's going to manage this roster. It almost feels like he always leaves that team a win or two short of what they could be capable of. But then you flip it around, you look at Illinois. I mean, Illinois, their collection of talent is solid. They have a lot of pieces back. You look at that defense. I mean, it was pretty young last year and they played well. You have your quarterback back, but people look at Brett Bielema in the Big Ten, and there's no doubts about what Brett Bielema can do in the Big Ten. He knows how to win. He knows the ins and the outs. He's been around it for forever. It's almost the difference I see between those two programs where Penn State has doubt because of the head coach. Illinois, you look at it and go, is it the best talent in the Big Ten? No, but they look good last year, and they have a coach that has been doing it for years and years and years, just churning out 9-win seasons.
So you have Illinois coming in at 4, Michigan 5th, Indiana at 6, your playoff team. I think they're pretty loaded on different levels as well. SC at 7 because of talent and projection. How's this grab you? When it comes to the KONT college football poll, you have Nebraska in at 8. Cleveland says, what about the Big Red?
Cleveland's got Nebraska in at 8, just behind Iowa, right ahead of USC.
Okay, so that's flip-flopped where SC's in front of Nebraska, Nebraska in front of Iowa. Buy or sell? 8th in the Big Ten in an 18-team league. Would you take it? Is that okay for you as a Nebraska fan? Is that too low in a sense? You're expecting Nebraska to finish or be around that top 6?
I mean, it feels to me like the ultimate. Media thinks Nebraska could be good, but they don't want to get too high on Nebraska because they've been hurt before. Hey, you know what? Nebraska, we'll put you in at 8th. We think you could be good, but we've heard the same song and dance before, and we've been wrong. We're not going to do that this year. If you put them in at 8th, at the end of the year, if Nebraska goes up and jumps some teams and exceeds expectations, you can say, man, look, we had Nebraska in at 8. We thought they were going to be solid this year. We thought they were going to be better. Maybe not this good, but we had belief in them. And then if you flip it around, if Nebraska falls short of expectations, you can say, well, we just had them at 8. We didn't think they were going to be great. I know other people around the country, the national talking heads, your Joel Klatz of the world said, man, they're going to be good. We didn't quite buy it. And look at us. We're right. It's the ultimate hedge bet with this Big Ten poll where you sit there and you say, they could be good. They could be bad. We don't really know. We've been hurt before. So we'll just slot them in right in the middle of the conference and whatever happens, happens.
Well, there's factors as to why folks are underselling Nebraska. You laid out the doubt or the prove it mentality. Then there's also folks saying, look, that Nebraska would be a good investment to finish above 8 because of ... Dana Holgerson, the offensive coordinator, because of what Nebraska has depth and experience wise on the offensive line. It's not just a nice pat on the head. Hey, Nebraska's got a lot of guys who played a lot of snaps. There's some talent there you can feel good about. Nebraska's done phenomenal work with their portal acquisitions. Nebraska also has several 4 to 5-star talent acquisitions on their roster, expecting big things. You like the veteran additions Nebraska brought in, bought too, but you also like the fact that Nebraska, when you pair the quarterback and coordinator combination, that's one reason to say 8 may be too low. Maybe Nebraska finishes higher. Maybe Nebraska challenges for a playoff spot or a higher finish in the Big Ten. Talent-wise, SC is on a different level. Michigan's on a different level from a recruiting ranking standpoint. And then Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. Those are your top 5 programs that print blue chips. You've got your Illinois, your Michigans, make that your Illinois, your Indianas, your Nebraskas, your Iowas that have talent, yes, but they do a lot of development.
But to flip it around, if I am one of these pollsters that's going out and putting in my picks for the Big Ten, which I'm not, just to throw that out there, I'm not. Nobody cares about little Elijah Herbel's opinion. But the doubt that I would have as a national media member, someone who does not follow Nebraska every single day, is the close game aspect for Nebraska. That hasn't gotten flipped yet in the Matt Rule tenure. Yeah, plenty of issues there with Scott Frost and his tenure at Nebraska. That issues continue. I mean, last year, look at Illinois, close game, you can't get it done. Ohio State, close game, you can't get it done. USC, close game, you can't get it done. Iowa, a close game, you can't get it done. This is something I'd love to talk to with the Husker players, the Husker contingent that travels out to Vegas.
We will.
I mean, and one of my big questions is you look at Dylan Ryle, like, I'm sure he's a guy that's been in the film room all offseason with Dana Holgorsen, looking back at some of these games. What moments have you learned from as a quarterback? Because that's what it comes down to for me. Obviously, it's a team game, but in those big time moments where it's a 3-point game or a 7-point game and you're driving down to go tie or take the lead, what moments has Dylan Ryle learned from his freshman year to say, you know what, I can do this better. I've learned from this moment. I got confused defensively, or I overshot my tight end target in the end zone by 2 yards, and I'd like to get that throw back. Like, what did you learn in those moments from last year to prove Nebraska can get over the hump in the Big Ten? Because what do you know about the Big Ten? Close games are going to abound. There will be close games for Nebraska this season. And the difference to me, can you finish top 5 in the Big Ten, or are you going to be sitting middle of the road or worse? Can you get over the hump in those close football games? Because they will be there on your schedule this year.
And listen, you're not going to go perfect every year. Can you be at 500 or better versus over? Because there are some teams that are going to have some guys that make plays that just beat you. That happens in a talented league. That happens in moments where to truly have a special season. Think of some of the Iowa teams that were knocking on a Big Ten championship door. They at least got there. They were incredible in one-score games, be it a special teams play or a turnover forced or even a play made. Can you be able to survive those games where maybe you don't have your A game or even your B game? And there'll be some of those games that are coin flips. Then there's some other games where the drudgery of this league, where the death march catches up to you.
Think about how different the season last year looks, though, if Dylan Ryle can hit Luke Lindenmeyer in the end zone against Illinois. How different it looks if you're able to go out and get a win against USC, where I think for a lot of that game, you outplayed USC. There's a couple drives. I mean, you have that 3rd and 1 option play where USC gets a big chunk play and kind of seals the game from that point, plus the pass interference.
And then your start against UCLA, how you had no answer. You couldn't get off the field. They held the football for the entire first half, and you're getting drilled 20-7.
Well, I look at the Iowa game, too. If you can make a tackle on Caleb Johnson on that little swing route, how different that game looks, or you don't muff it inside your own 10 and set up Iowa for a field goal. Like, that was a game where you outplayed your opposition again. How different does that season look? Because you can pretty easily find 3 more wins, and now you're at 9-3, or maybe even 10-2, because maybe the feelings are different against UCLA. How different that season looks if you can be closer and better in those close, tight football games late. That's one of the big questions for me heading into 2025 for this Husker football team. They've upgraded their talent. Have they upgraded their mentality? Have they upgraded their ability to go out there and finish games in the fourth quarter?
Well, that is going to be key. Some other teams, I think, too low on the list. Washington, I think the Huskies could surprise and finish in the top 8. I think Minnesota can be dangerous. I know they finished, 7-5, 8-5 last year. They've got a lot coming back on the offensive line in their running back room, plus a pretty salty defense. Minnesota is going to be one of those teams folks don't want to mess with. UCLA, they're pegged 14th. If you get good Nico, and, UCLA has always had athletes. Do they get hot? Do they keep some momentum? UCLA is one of those teams that could give you hell on any given Saturday, good or bad.
Who's your pick? It feels like every single year there's one team that is picked in the bottom 3rd of the Big Ten that jumps up and is in contention come November. Maybe not playing for a Big Ten title, but they're at least at a place where everyone goes, okay, we didn't see that coming, and that's a team that is nationally relevant in November. Last year it's Indiana. A couple years ago it's Illinois. So many years with Northwestern where they were jumping up and surprising people despite being picked low. If you're picking one this year, I know we'll be talking to plenty of teams while we're out in Vegas. Which team are you picking?
I think the team that really is ready to make a move. I can't decide between Indiana or Illinois who I like better, because you got a lot back for Indiana with a much different schedule. Illinois' schedule is got plenty of landmines. So maybe they play good football, but they still end up 8-4. If I'm going to pick, I kind of like Washington to surprise.
I like everything about Washington except maybe their lines of scrimmage, which is big in the Big Ten, but I love their quarterback. He looked good as a youngster last year. I think he was a freshman last year.
So we'll just wind down this first segment with this. Higher or lower? Are you going over or under 8? Does Nebraska finish at 8? Do they finish below that 8 line in the Big Ten for the preseason? Do they finish above it? I think they finish above it.
From an expectations point of view, for this season to be considered a success, I think Nebraska needs to finish above that. I mean, you look at it, if you're at the 9 or 10 line, you're probably looking at a 7-5 season.
Mm-hmm.
8 is maybe 8 wins, but 7-5 could be there too, just with the meat grinder that is the Big Ten. I think if you want to live up to expectations, at least that this team has internally this season, it's got to be above.
I'm going to also throw out a gamble. I'm going to pick Oregon to win the whole thing. I'm going to pick Oregon over Penn State. Ooh, that's risky. I know they're as loaded as anybody, and I know they got to go to Penn State, but I like Oregon this year. I think they learned from their first year, and I think they're every inch as good as advertised on the lines of scrimmage.
I think it's going to be another Penn State against Oregon Big Ten title game. Okay. I will say that I don't want to put my money on James Franklin in a game such as that, but I think those two teams, the teams that will be battling out in Indy later this year.
All right, Average Joe Sports Show with you on a Monday. Tim Verghese, Inside Nebraska Rivals coming up. Charlie McBride on the way in hour 2. We get to Vegas for Big Ten Media Days tomorrow.
Don't let a nice summer day fool you. In the blink of an eye, summer can unleash deadly storms, massive flooding, and trailer park hunting tornadoes. Keep your family safe with up-to-the-second alerts from the award-winning weather team here at KFOR. News, talk, sports, and severe weather updates are here for you 24/7. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, and streaming on your mobile device with your favorite radio app or online at KFORnow.com.
Snacks, check. Dad Rock playlist, double check.
And getting this new car, stress-free thanks to Members Own. Woo, let's hit the road. It feels good to know our credit union is with us for the ride.
Yep, Members Own helped us get further financially. And you might say, now we're cruising down Easy Street.
Wait, are we actually going to Easy Street?
We are now. Accelerate your savings with an auto loan from Members Own Credit Union. Go to membersoncu.org/Easy Street for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Rolling through a Monday here with the Average Joe's Elijah Herbel. Chris Schmidt is going to be with us and not with us at certain times throughout the show. It's going to be a little bit different. He was with us in segment 1. He has made it to Vegas. He is now on his way to the, I'm not sure if you want to call it the hotel or the casino. He's going to his room, from what I understand. Might stop by the blackjack table. We'll check in with him a little bit later in this show, but that explains Schmidty sometimes being here, sometimes not being here for the show. Lay it out with everybody. We welcome Tim Verghese to the show. Tim inside Nebraska, not on his way to Vegas. Is that because you cannot be trusted around the blackjack table, Tim?
Yeah, I like to think that's the reason.
Tim, with Big Ten Media Days coming out, it's an annual tradition. We hit it back in segment 1. The preseason poll, Cleveland.com doing the big one, but there's a couple out there right now. Wanted to get a couple of your thoughts before we dive into some recruiting thoughts on the preseason poll from the Big Ten. Penn State comes in at number 1. How does that strike you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Penn State. I think they have to be the preseason favorite. I think Ohio State's a team that contends this year, but again, there's a big question mark at quarterback. There's a lot to replace. I think Oregon would have a really good argument if Evan Stewart wasn't hurt. I just think I've got some questions about that offense. But yeah, right. I mean, I think going into the season, it has to be Penn State 1.
What's your take on James Franklin with his struggles? I mean, I think 1-18 against the top 5 during his time at Penn State is the record there. Our esteemed colleague Justice Rhodey calls him small to medium game James because of some of his struggles in the big game. Is that real? Is that overblown? What are your thoughts on Penn State and their ability to rise in those big moments?
No, I mean, I think it's real just because, like, okay, if I like me all offseason projecting Penn State for this year, in my head, I've been seeing them as the team that probably wins the Big Ten just because they are so much more talented than I think the top end. They have the quarterback. They have just things that other teams this year don't. But I don't know if they get over the top. Like, I think they run into a Clemson. I think they run into even like a Georgia, Miami if they're fully locked this year. Texas, of course. I think they're going to run into a team that's on the level talent-wise and better coached. And I think they'll ultimately fall. But I do think they're good enough this year to win the Big Ten. And, yeah, I mean, he got over the hump last year. And maybe his like big game issues are resolved as well. But, like, I think I take the talent at Penn State head-to-head over Ohio State right now just because I know what it looks like when Ryan Day doesn't have the most talented team in the country, and he has to coach those big games as well.
Yeah, and it's with Penn State. It's as I said last segment, I think probably the best offensive line in the Big Ten, the best running back duo in the country, a future first-round quarterback. They added some talent to that wide receiver room. Like, to me, it's Penn State and Texas, likely from a starting 22 offense and defense point of view, the two most talented teams in the country, but we'll see what Penn State does with it. Elsewhere, Ohio State and Oregon, you kind of touched on both of them. What doubts do you have? Why are they not number 1 in your mind, each of those teams?
Yeah, real quick on the other team I throw in there with Texas is Clemson. I just think Clemson's going to be really good this year, and they're stacked. But yeah, I mean, with Ohio State, it's the quarterback thing for me, and some of those question marks on defense they have to answer. I think they'll be good. I do think they have the 2 best players, arguably the 2 best players in the country. Like, I think you can genuinely make the argument for Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs being the best 2 players in the country, which negates some of the kind of I guess negatives on both sides of the ball for them. But yeah, I mean, I think I've got questions about Ohio State's O-line. I've got some questions about the running back room. Obviously, the quarterback just position, who's going to be the starter, remains a question. Whoever it is, I still don't know if they're, again, to the caliber of what they've had over these last few years. And Oregon, it's the same thing. I mean, if Evan Stewart wasn't out for the year or out for a significant chunk of time, I think I would feel better about Oregon going into the year. But yeah, I think I've got a question about the receiver room, even with a guy, I think, in Decorian Moore, who's going to step into a really big role. But they need more offensively, in my opinion.
Tim Verghese with us here. Tim, what's your take on Nebraska coming in at number 8? Obviously, you have the talent upgrade. I talked about doubts being able to finish things out in close games. How does Nebraska at number 8 in the preseason poll strike you?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by it. I think there's room to move up to like 6 or 7, maybe even push for potentially 5. But Yeah, I mean, I think the group Nebraska's in is probably the group I'd have them in. Like they've been kind of lumped around like Iowa and kind of Minnesota a little bit. Washington's in that mix. Indiana as well, Illinois. I think Illinois is a tier in between those top three we talked about, and then that next group, just because they are a more veteran team that does come in with a lot of starting experience and has an opportunity, I think, to really make a run this year. But I think Illinois still has to prove it in big moments. But yeah, I mean, I think Nebraska at 8. I think 6 to 8 is about the range I have them in. Like, I think that's probably the safest range right now.
As we get set for Big Ten Media Days, Nebraska Day is tomorrow. We'll have all the coverage with the Average Joe Sports Show here. Tim, what questions do you have for Matt Rule? What questions do you have for the players that are going to be on site? What would you like to learn between now and the end of the week, specifically regarding Nebraska?
I mean, I think the big one offensively is just some clarity on the offensive line, specifically the right tackle situation. Is that a situation where they have an idea of the names going into camp? Is it still somewhat of an open competition? Where's that thing trending? I think we have an idea of where that's going, but kind of want to hear it on the record. You know what I mean? And then in the receiver room, just like, kind of how are these new additions stacking in? I think where does Isaiah Mosey fit in? Where does Jeremiah Jones fit in? Or how much, are we going to see of Jeremiah Jones if they're even willing to kind of offer that that kind of insight? And then defensively, I just kind of want to know where the front's at, like where they're at, kind of who they're going to be relying on besides, the guys we know, RVP, Keona Davis, Elijah Judy. Like, is there anybody else they feel good about through summer workouts, through the end of spring ball, potentially factoring into that rotation or factoring in at a high level in that rotation? And that's really, like, I mean, with the players, where Dylan's confidence is at, kind of what he's working through right now, like where his head's at kind of going to the season. Just want to get an idea of his confidence level going into the year. And then with the line, I don't expect a whole lot from Henry Lutovsky. I think everyone around here has seen his press conferences or the limited press time we've seen him in. He's not a big talker. I'm not expecting a whole lot there. But yeah, with John Singleton, like just figuring out the secondary, I think that's another one. If you're looking at the defense, how is the secondary going to work? Just because of how many bodies there are, how many different guys can play positions. I know there's going to be just a ton of reps to go around. How are they managing egos? How are they managing expectations? Just all of that. Like, the secondary is really fascinating for me going into the year.
Tim Verghese with us. And Tim, you mentioned the fact that Lutovsky is not a big talker. We threw it around this weekend on the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show, how we could fit in his major. He's a criminal justice major, how we could throw that in along with a football question, try to combine the best of both worlds to get him talking. You can check that out, everyone out there listening, the Average Joe Sports Show, Sunday live edition, wherever you get podcasts, or the Average Joe Sports Show YouTube channel, Viva Las Vegas. I won't spoil it for those people out there, but we had an illuminating conversation, a fun conversation there. Tim, with the offensive line in particular here with Lutovsky, does it tell you anything that he's the representative going out to Vegas? I mean, the two new guys you bring in Rocco and Pritchett, are guys that you're expecting to be stalwarts along this offensive line, really reliable guys. What does it tell you that Lutovsky is the guy who goes out and represents the offensive line in Vegas?
Yeah, that was an interesting choice because I thought there was a chance it would be Rocco, but kind of figure rules, philosophy, and just everything. I didn't think it was going to be a first-year transfer. But then my immediate thought was Justin Evans. So I was pretty surprised that it was Lutovsky. I think everyone kind of assumed it was going to be Justin Evans if someone from the O-line was going. Yeah, maybe just kind of where he's at behind the scenes from a work perspective. I mean, you do expect him to have some sort of a role. I think for me, at least, it was like, oh, okay, that's like, I mean, we're probably going to see a lot more Henry Lutovsky than we expect, maybe like, and so I'm curious to kind of see what he says, what he's thinking going into the year about his role, how he fits into the room, and again, like where some of these transfers fit in and kind of what they've learned. I think there's something for the whole room to learn from Rocco and his national championship experience. And then Pritchett with just moving positions, playing at the SEC level and starting games in the SEC. I think there's something to be learned on both sides.
Yeah, and I was wondering if it's intentional to send a quieter guy out from the offensive line, kind of
that's the room. I mean, that's what they do. They keep things in house. I think if you're looking for the perfect guy to be like who represents this room, keeping things in house, family culture, all of that, is Henry Lutovsky.
I mean, it's the offensive line. It feels like the culture is speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
If you're into history, that's an old presidential quote. But that's kind of the mantra, and I think Henry kind of embodies that a little bit. Tim, to recruiting we go. Want to get your thoughts. I know there's been an update on the recruitment of Ahmad Hudson, the just star tight end that feels like everyone across the country wants. I know there was an update today on his recruitment. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, it's like a couple of schools starting to separate themselves, but I think there's a good bit of ways to go in this recruitment. Nebraska feels good about where they're at. I think they're going to be able to get him at least on campus at least once this fall for a game. I know Trey Taylor's pushing to get him on campus multiple times, but I think it may happen later in the year. There's a chance it happens early in the season, but right now, last I talked to him, he's aiming for it to happen once his regular season wraps up. They get typically they do well enough that they get a first round bye. And he's gunning for that first round bye so we can make it up to Nebraska at some point in November. So feel, kind of good about, you have to feel good about where Nebraska's at right now, but at the same time, it's, it's going to be tough to beat in-state LSU. I think that they were the first school to offer. They've always believed in him. He's camped there a bunch, really familiar with that program. I think the underrated, maybe not underrated, but something not enough people are talking about that recruitment. A cycle or two ago, LSU took a tight end in Trey Green, who started in the bowl game, had a touchdown in their bowl win. And he's another jumbo kind of tight end that also plays basketball and does also play basketball at LSU. LSU can kind of pitch him on just kind of following that footsteps and have a direct model of someone he can kind of pattern his game after and literally show him, hey, we're doing this at this level. That's helped Nebraska in some aspects with track, where you had in the past, guys that were doing track and football and how that was used as a recruiting tool. LSU kind of has that in their back pocket with Trey Green doing what Ahmad Hudson wants to do in college.
Yeah, and speaking of LSU tight ends, and Tim, I'm already looking at the clock. We might need a little bit of overtime if that's all right with you.
Hope you're all good.
Mac Markway, I know you tweeted about him today, back in a uniform. He was in a video drop by the Husker football team today. Former LSU tight end. We haven't got to see him at all really, but was a highly coveted guy in the recruiting scene. What kind of impact could he bring to the Husker offense if he is fully healthy?
Yeah, he's a name that's kind of forgotten. He's a guy that when you look at what he does on the field and what he did in his 1 year at LSU, super high floor just as a blocker and a functional enough mover in space that you're going to get something out of him. He's not a zero as a pass catcher, which and well more than that, you know what I mean? He can be a plus pass catcher for the offense too. Can kind of be used in multiple personnel. Nebraska has an opportunity to be really versatile offensively, just with how many different packages they can have. 13, 12 personnel, and who's in that personnel. Sometimes it may be Heinrich and Luke Lindenmeyer. Sometimes it may be, Mac Markway, Lindenmeyer, and then you throw in a Carter Nelson who's a bit of a wild card in there too. Like, they have an opportunity to be super versatile up front.
Tim Verghese with us, and Tim, we'll give you a couple minutes on the other side. We have a question from Captain, an update on Sohn, a lot of things to get to. More with Tim Verghese coming after the break.
Perfect.
Hi, this is Rich Ray, voice of the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Catch all the exciting action on Wednesday, July 16th, as Lincoln hosts Sioux City and the Explorers at Haymarket Park. First pitch is at 7:05, with coverage beginning at 6:35.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR. Introducing TRT for life at Limitless Mail. One upfront cost, and you're covered for life. No monthly bills, no surprise price hikes. But act fast. Only 20 TRT lifetime memberships per clinic. Pay one upfront cost at Limitless Mail, and your testosterone therapy is covered for life. Boost your energy, enhance performance, think more clearly, build muscle, and have more confidence. Sign up now at limitlessmail.com.
Hey, it's Schmidty. You've likely heard me talk about my health journey over the last year and a half. The journey that started with a visit to Lincoln Weight Loss. I'd become frustrated and not able to shed some of that stubborn weight that I had accumulated over the years. Then I was introduced and started the Lincoln Weight Loss program. My metabolism was completely reset, and I dropped the weight I'd been hoping to lose almost immediately. Even better, I had a burst of newfound energy. I've been following the Lincoln Weight Loss program ever since, and it's truly changed my life. I encourage you to take that first step and check out Lincoln Weight Loss and get your free body composition analysis. From there, you'll start to see results and get back on track. Then you can get back to enjoying golfing, grilling, mowing, whatever makes you happiest this summer. With Lincoln Weight Loss, there's no injections, no prepackaged meals, or calorie counting. Schedule your free consultation today at LincolnWeightLoss.com or call 402-520-8170.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO77 to 32 32 32. GO77 to 32 32 32. GO77 to 32 32 32. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
KFOR is now available in high-definition stereo.
This is the good stuff.
Listen in your HD radio-equipped vehicle at FM 106.3. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Rolling through a Monday here with the Average Joes. Schmidty in Vegas. We'll be hearing from him here in just a second. I hope, as long as he doesn't get lost at the blackjack table on the way up to his hotel room. A few minutes here of overtime with Tim Verghese. Make sure you find his work with Inside Nebraska. And Tim, plenty of Nebraska rivals. Find his work there. And make sure you check out his recruiting blitz. That dropped a little bit earlier today. And Tim, a question in from the stream. I'd like to get your thoughts in just a second from Captain. So Captain, be prepared. I like your question. But first, Valdon Sohn obviously commits to Georgia at the end of last week. I saw the writing on the wall whenever Georgia's top defensive tackle commit flips to Georgia right before Sohn's commitment. I don't think there's coincidences like that in recruiting whenever you go, oh, the top defensive tackle in Georgia's class is now left right before Sohn commits. Makes you go, I wonder what he just heard from the staff at Georgia to make him flip, or maybe what he heard from the staff at Texas to make him flip, but not really a surprise. My question to you, how close was Nebraska in that recruitment?
The thing about that recruitment, especially through the spring, when you date back to the spring, and the effort Nebraska put in the D-line coach transition, Nebraska dipped initially after Terrence Knighton left it, but I think EJ Bartell did a really good job of keeping Nebraska in the mix. When Terry Braden joined, he kind of made an effort to get out there, see him, but also get him on the phone and get comfortable with him through the spring. That relationship developed really well. And then, they went as far as to obviously go see his parents. And so they developed the relationship really well. I think this was a recruitment where at times the heart was almost in Nebraska, and there was a lot of, we'd love Nebraska, but I throughout this whole recruitment, it just felt like the draw of the SEC was going to be too much. At one point it was Florida, at one point it was Oklahoma, ended up being Georgia. So and Texas was in there for a sec. I would not be surprised if Texas makes another run closer to the season. This is a recruitment I think is going to keep going, just because I do think he wants to evaluate his programs through the year. I do think both Nebraska and Ohio State were in his year, the people around him, they were in their year about the Big Ten and the SEC kind of being the future of college football, and the Big Ten specifically being the conference on the rise, being where you need to go. And I do think he's going to give Ohio State a second look. He got that offer just in June itself. I think he's going to give that program a second look. I think Nebraska could potentially get him back on campus for a game day visit. I don't think this recruitment's over. But yeah, just this first time around, it kind of felt like the whole time you couldn't really beat this, or you couldn't really get over this, the SEC is where he wants to be. The SEC, he thinks the SEC is where the best competition is, the best development is. And right now you can't really argue with that, but Nebraska and Ohio State and a few other programs in the Big Ten are kind of making their case that he should at least give them a shot again this fall.
Tim, as you look at a potential flip, getting him back into town, are there any dates you have circled, any games that Nebraska has potentially identified as priority games to get some targets in town?
Yeah, I mean the big ones are of course USC and Michigan, but the one I personally have circled that I do think they're going to try and get guys in for is that Akron game. It's a night game. It's early enough in most of these guys' seasons where when you get them on campus, it's either early enough in the non-con or the non out of district schedule for them, or it's at a point where it's kind of a lull in the schedule, and it's a 6:30 game. I think Nebraska's going to push to get guys on campus for a 6:30 game. It's also obviously, of course, easier to get guys in September than it is in November. So for that reason, I think the Akron game is going to be a sneaky big recruiting weekend. But yeah, USC and Michigan are the two big ones I'm looking at going into the year. But I wonder a little bit if this year matches last year, where there was a lot of, I think, momentum around the UCLA weekend at the top of November. But then that Wisconsin game ended up being a pretty solid recruiting weekend as well. I wonder if that Iowa game becomes a pretty solid recruiting weekend for Nebraska.
It's Tim Verghese with us here, and I know I've prefaced this for a second now. Captain with the question in the stream, I think related to the class of 2027. He asks, offensively, if you got to choose 2 players / 2 positions, so a player from each position, you go get some premier players, some of those top 50, top 100 type guys. What 2 positions are you picking to go fortify Nebraska's offense in that class of 2027?
In 27 specifically, I think you have to look at offensive line and running back. Obviously, I think Ahmad Hudson at tight ends in the conversation, of course, but what this offensive line group is in 27 is really special. Mark Matthews, Kennedy Brown at the top. Nebraska's in the mix for both. Both those guys really special. I think right now, depending on what you're looking for, you get the versatility in Brown, and you get just a monster frame and truly just like projectable, like pick, like number 1 pick in the draft type potential in Mark Matthews. I don't think you can go wrong there. And then running back, just because I do really like that running back group in 27. You have a couple. I like Noah Roberts a lot. I think he's a dynamic back. I think at the very top you have a few guys. Tyson Robinson out of Mississippi, who's pretty electric. So yeah, I think running back is where I personally look, and offensive line. 27 compared to. I'm still waiting to see who pops up, who continues to pop up. I'm not in love with the 27 receiver group as I am with some of the years past. I think we've seen some really, really good receiver classes or receiver cycles these last few years. In comparison, 27 feels a bit down, but it is pretty deep just in terms of the amount of like top end talent that's there. It's just there's no the group that was like Cam Coleman and Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. There's not that type of class in 27. I think you have to look at 28 and beyond for that type of receiver group.
Tim Verghese with us here inside Nebraska Rivals, and make sure you give Tim a follow on Twitter for all of his work at Tim Verghese, including he's on the money with everything. He's a couple weeks ahead of schedule with Bryson Wright making national waves. He's on it, so make sure you find all of the recruiting insight with Tim on Twitter. And quickly, Tim, tell people about Recruiting Blitz this week.
Yeah, Recruiting Blitz had Cody Belair on. He's one of Rivals' national scouts. On 3 now Rivals, of course, and a guy that I've worked a lot with and been able to kind of see his evaluation process up close. Dude, I really like a lot. He breaks down some of Nebraska's top commits on the show, 26 and 27, and talks about some top targets he's really fascinated by. I think there's some really good insight there. He saw all of Nebraska's recent commits, Danny Odom, Claude Mpuma, all of those guys in person recently. He's a big fan of Danny Odom and Trey Taylor specifically. A really big fan of Larry Miles as well, who you saw multiple times over the offseason. So he breaks those guys down, kind of offers some insight into the rankings process and the evaluation process as well that I think fans will find interesting.
It's Tim Verghese with us. Make sure you find him everywhere and check out the Recruiting Blitz. Tim, appreciate you giving us some overtime. We'll get caught up with you next week whenever. How about that? We'll be talking about the start of fall camp following Big Ten Media Days. It's snuck up on us, but it's here. Appreciate you taking some time out of your Monday.
Yes, sir. Of course, man. Can't believe you're here.
Yeah, can't believe it. There he goes. Tim Verghese with us here on the Average Joe Sports Show. Man, Tim is the best every single week, and today was no exception. a wide-ranging discussion. And remember, you can always check out the full discussion if you missed anything. The Average Joe Sports Show on YouTube is where you go. That's where you can rewind us while we're still live. So if you're listening now and you're like, man, I wish I could have heard all that conversation, rewind it back on YouTube. You can catch the full conversation, or you can also catch it after the fact in podcast form, wherever you get your podcast. Just search up The Average Joe Sports Show, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, I should say, Amazon Music, all great places to go. Or check us out on Twitter. You can find the Average Joe Sports Show on Twitter/X at AJ Sports Radio, where again, you can catch the full show and get the lineup for the show every single day. We'll have one more segment here before the top of the hour. Chris Schmidt, he's in Vegas. We're waiting for him to get a reliable internet connection and to get everything set up. He'll be with us here soon as we roll through a Monday. It's the Average Joe Sports Show. Elijah Herbel with you today. More coming your way after this.
Trust is a foundation of any strong relationship. It's earned every day.
At 1011, it's the way we cover the community we call home.
Working hard to fact check, verify, and get the story right.
It means alerting you first to severe weather and preparing for what's ahead.
It's telling the stories that bring us together and make us proud to be Nebraska.
Trust Cole Miller, Madison Pitch, Chief Meteorologist Ken Shumick, and Sports Director Kevin Suits. The most watched, the most trusted. That's 1011.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-2521. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results vary. Consult with your tax professional prior to enrollment.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This July, Acres is celebrating the birth of our nation. The fireworks include the opportunity to save big with great pricing on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Plus, you can lock in interest rates as low as 1.9% on select used John Deere planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines. Red hot rates combined with explosive discounts make July the perfect time to buy and save. Don't wait. These deals won't last long. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer July 31st, 2025. Some approved financing. Offer may change anytime without notice.
Is your vanity a calamity? Your lighting frightening? Enter Handyman Home Remodeling Center's 10th annual Ugly Bathroom Contest. Take a snapshot of your outdated ugly bathroom. Tell them all about it. First place gets $3,000. Second place, $1,000. Third place and the best written submissions, $500. Enter by July 29th at handymanhome.com/contest.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Rolling through a Monday here, the Average Joe Sports Show. It's Elijah Herbel with you. Chris Schmidt will join us here shortly from Vegas. Theories in the stream chat from Tiger Shark Diver saying Schmidty has hit the jackpot already. Now he's just retiring. We got the advice from Gary Sharp yesterday to make sure you hit that first slot machine you see in Vegas at the airport and take advantage of that beginner's luck. I don't think Schmidty's going out there to gamble. He did a little bit of it on his trip to Europe and things did not go well for him. But hey, first time in Vegas does mean beginner's luck. As I talk about the stream chat here for just a second, let's take you through the Average Joe Sports Show starting five. A lot of welcomes in as Schmidty makes his return on a Monday. He was with us back in segment one. Has to step away, get himself all situated at the casino/hotel, wherever he ends up doing the show from. So We'll have him back in just a second, but Jimmy was in first today saying, welcome back, Chris. Tuck chimes in second saying, is Elijah ever taking time off? Maybe after football season, Tuck. For now, I don't take days off, not once Big Ten Media Days start, not once fall camp starts. I have made sure no fall weddings for myself this year after just being bombarded in the summertime. So I don't think there will be any days off for Elijah till the end of football season, and that's the way I like it. Football season is my favorite time of year, and I don't need a vacation whenever I enjoy my life. So looking forward to everything from football season and everything from Big Ten Media Days. Jeff Snitley in third. The other Dave is in saying happy Media Day week. Anonymous with some Las Vegas advice in sixth, saying if you stand in the doorways long enough in Vegas, you'll breathe in enough to fail a drug test. So that is the advice from Anonymous. Patrick is in. Tuck is in saying Chris has survived Europe with his family, but will he survive Vegas with Dolman? A very, very important question. We'll ask Schmidty that here next hour. Black Hills Brennan is in. Arlo is in. Jeff is in as well. Captain, Rocco, and Duck also all in. NASCAR Eric makes an appearance in the Average Joe Sports Show starting five. And Vince is in saying Sparty is the team that he thinks can jump up and surprise some people in the Big Ten down the bottom half. Don't want to forget anyone here. I want to get back to that conversation in just a second, but I also want to say Skyler also makes his way into the stream as well. But that conversation, who jumps up in the Big Ten this year? Chris and I kind of agreed Washington is a team to watch in this upcoming season as being a potential team to jump up. I don't hate Sparty either. I know we didn't really get into this back in our first segment where we talked about the preseason poll from Cleveland.com. But as you look through some of the bottom teams in the Big Ten, and I'm talking your teams in the double digits, you got Washington coming in the poll in 10th, Minnesota 11th, Wisconsin 12th. I think Wisconsin's a little bit high with that schedule, but we'll see. Michigan State and Rutgers tie at 13th. We have UCLA 15, Maryland 16, Northwestern 17, and Purdue 18. I will say the teams I am pretty unequivocally out on being able to surprise anyone this year, which maybe that's the point of a surprise, is me saying there's no chance right now, and then they shock me. But I don't think Purdue has the necessary talent this year to scare anyone in the Big Ten. Northwestern and Maryland I'd kind of put into that same category. UCLA at 15 is an intriguing one to me because I do think they have a quarterback that is probably top 6 in the Big Ten. And as we saw last year, their talent isn't bad. Is it near the top end of the conference? No, not by any means. But UCLA, I don't think, is going to be upset about being a team that no one's really talking about right now. They want to be a team that can surprise some people. So we'll see about UCLA. 15 seems a little bit low to me. And oh my God, look who it is. Chris Schmidt makes his way into the stream here to close hour one. We don't have time to get in. Any thoughts from Chris? We're up against a hard break. We'll step aside, and we'll have Charlie McBride joining us after the break here with the Average Joe Sports Show.
We all know someone who shows up. No spotlight, no big fuss, just heart. Maybe it's a teacher, a neighbor, or a friend who's always there when you need them. I'm Kenya Reynoso at Roper & Sons, and we think those everyday heroes deserve a little recognition. That's what Here's to the Heroes is all about. So if someone made a difference in your life or around the Lincoln community, take a minute to nominate them. Nominations are open through September 15th at roperandsons.com. Let's give them the thanks they may never ask for, but truly deserve.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers slip-ins. Get your slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
145 over 92.
180 over 111. I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest.
and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Florida, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says it is conducting an administrative review of officers involved in the beating of William McNeil Jr. during a traffic stop. The video of the encounter now going viral on social media. Here's ABC's Rena Roy.
This was back in February, and at first you hear him asking why he was pulled over, and they say he didn't have his headlights on, and he says there's no rain. A sheriff's deputy responds, it doesn't matter. That's when McNeil is asked to show his hands, which he does. He's also asked to get out of the car, so he asks to speak with his supervisor. That sheriff's deputy then breaks his window. You actually see the glass shatter onto McNeil, then the sheriff's deputy punches him. He's pulled out of the car, pushed to the ground, and we see multiple officers beating him as he's placed under arrest.
Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is representing McNeil. House Speaker Mike Johnson signaling the House will not vote on a measure for the full release of the Epstein files until after the August recess. Bipartisan calls growing for the full release, along with criticism over the Trump administration and Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
There is ultimately likely to be some kind of House action on this. There is this effort to create a discharge petition, this legislation that would force a bill onto the floor that would call for a wide-scale release of Epstein records.
Israeli forces expanding their military operations in central Gaza, where many food aid distribution sites are located. It comes after at least 80 people died and 150 others injured after Israeli troops opened fire near a crowd at one of the sites. ABC's Ian Pannell says Palestinians are starving and desperate for food.
There have been multiple killings at food sites over the last few weeks. As the crisis on the ground worsens, the UN's food program estimating 90,000 Palestinians are suffering from malnutrition, many on the brink of starvation.
You're listening to ABC News.
Are you over 50 and constantly feeling tired, bloated, or just a little off? Don't ignore it. Those could be signs that your liver is crying for help. As we age, our liver, which is essential for metabolism, digestion, immunity, and detoxification, needs extra support and protection. If neglected, it can leave you feeling sluggish and constantly off your game. That's where Active Liver from New Nordic comes in. Available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies, Active Liver combines powerful natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract to help support healthy liver function. With Active Liver, you're giving your body an essential daily defense against toxins from alcohol, fatty foods, and sweets, helping you reclaim your energy, improve digestion, lose the bloat, and strengthen your immunity so you can look and feel your best again. Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
The extradition hearing has been set for a homicide suspect. Good afternoon. I'm Elijah Herbel, KFOR News. Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon today released a statement saying they are seeking to extradite a murder suspect back to Wisconsin. 23-year-old Gavin Thompson was arrested last Wednesday after a manhunt in eastern Seward County following a crash on I-80 near Pleasantdale. A body found in the back seat of the vehicle was identified as that of a missing 67-year-old woman from Dodgeville, Wisconsin, that investigators determined died sometime before the crash. You can read more on this at KFORnow.com. Two vehicles collided late Sunday afternoon in the North Bottoms area of Lincoln. This happened at 12th and New Hampshire.
One vehicle is northbound on 12th Street and violated the stop sign. Another vehicle is westbound on New Hampshire.
Lincoln Police Lieutenant Brian Agnew tells KFOR News both vehicles collided in the intersection. The driver of the northbound vehicle then fled in an orange Infiniti with in-transit papers from the scene. Two men in the westbound car, a 31-year-old male driver and a 42-year-old male passenger, were not hurt. Police are still investigating an injury crash from early Sunday morning near 13th and Van Dorn that sent 3 people to the hospital.
A red 2013 Mazda 6 sedan was found wrapped around a light pole with severe damage.
LPD Public Information Manager Erica Thomas says the vehicle was speeding southbound on 13th Street before crashing. The 32-year-old male driver was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. It is believed that alcohol was a factor in the crash. LPD's homeless outreach team and those with Centerpoint are reaching out to Lincoln's unsheltered population this week to help them beat the heat.
Just spend time monitoring the unsheltered population, myself and the Centerpoint Street Outreach team, and just try to keep track of where people are at, where known encampments are at.
LPD investigator Melissa Ripley says they offer water, sunscreen, and bug spray while helping the homeless to cooling centers. A chance of scattered showers in the capital city this afternoon, a high of 89 degrees. For KFOR News, this is Elijah Herbel.
Do your dress shoes, casual shoes, boots, and even your sneakers hurt? And are you starting to wonder, isn't there any shoe out there that'll get rid of my foot pain? Well, maybe you don't need a better shoe. Maybe you need better support in your shoes. That's where the Good Feet store can help.
When I went to the doctor and got diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, he told me that I could only wear sneakers. So there went all my summer collection of shoes and all my dress shoes I couldn't wear. It was just too painful, too much foot pain every day. I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day. But as soon as I got my arch supports from the Good Feet store, I have no foot pain whatsoever, and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Visit the store at 27th and Pine Lake Road across from South Point Mall, or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Summer sandal season is here, and Good Feet fits
Live from Lincoln and broadcasting across the state of Nebraska, it's the Average Joe Sports Show. This is the place for Husker sports with the biggest names, the best interviews, and all the inside scoops.
I got a front row seat with a big tub of buttered popcorn and a greasy half-live chicken leg.
Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to hour 2 here with the Average Joe Sports Show. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel made it to Vegas. We are on the 24th floor of Mandalay Bay. We'll see how long till things flake out internet-wise. That's going to be the dangerous gamble the next 2 days at Big Ten Media Days. Without further ado, let's welcome in Mr. Blackshirt, who I may take some advice on Black Jack from. Charlie McBride joins us. Coach, how we doing? It's been a long time since we talked. Good to spend some time with you.
Yeah, you're off vacation now, huh?
Well, I'm off vacation, and I'm air quote working as we're in Las Vegas, just landed in Vegas for Big Ten Media Days tomorrow. It's Nebraska Day tomorrow.
Did you gain any weight?
I lost 3 pounds, actually.
No way.
I did. It's all that Euro food, man. Even with the beer and the vodka and the gin.
It's probably the 20,000 steps a day too.
It's the billions of steps. So I behaved, Coach.
Now you drink all that vodka and that's from throwing up. You lost that weight.
No, it was just in moderation, my friend.
Oh, yeah, okay. Especially on the trip with the rest of the press. So I've been there before. Holy moly! Back in the days when the Big Eight was rolling, and they came out. They came to our place, and nobody could see their eyeballs. It was. They had it. They had once they've gone to about 6 of the schools, they're done.
So I gotta ask you, of the old Big Eight coaching fraternity, who could get after it the best? Was it McCartney? Was it Switzer? Was it Coach Walden? Was it Warren Powers when he was at Missouri? Who are the coaches that could really have a good old time?
Well, it was probably, it was there'd be 2 or 3 of them. Missouri may come in one of the 3, and then Switzer would definitely come in one of the three. I've been places where they have gone out the night before they saw a player.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got to the player's house, it wasn't good. And that was down in Alabama, and it was it was kind of exciting, but I'm glad I wasn't with them. Let's put it that way. But they did good. I mean, coaches are pretty good during that time of year. It's when the season's over, you got to be careful.
No, I would imagine that. Tomorrow we'll have Ohio State, Coach McBride. They're going to be obviously a focus with what they did to win a national championship. You have Indiana and their surprising run to the playoff. Yeah, you have Illinois with kind of their projections. And then there's Nebraska. Is it okay for Nebraska and Matt Rule? They have their own expectations, Coach McBride, but they're a little bit under the radar.
That's the best place to be. I mean, it really is kind of interesting because I think the way, we thought, we were able to kind of get away from a lot of the hype. I don't, by talking about other things, in life, and some of our meetings were not even pertain to football. And, Tom did a good job, I think, of actually teaching. It wasn't really that. It was becoming aware of certain things that were important in your life. And so, it got a little bit away from a lot of that, hype. And get down to earth, let's put it that way. And realize what you really had to do. I mean, dig a little deeper and start thinking about, what you're going to do for the other guy and what you're going to, do for your team. And it kind of got into a lot of that. And I think one time I noticed at the end of Bo Schembechler's career, he had a saying that, it called it the team. Mm-hmm. And the team, that was the theme. And it was kind of interesting. It's kind of at that time, it's interesting to see what they come up with. Our kids came up with some sayings about about the team and stuff like that. And then it was all team orientated pretty much. And there wasn't any I me stuff.
It's Charlie McBride with us here, a Monday edition of the Average Joe Sports Show, as Schmidty has made his way to Vegas, and we're getting all geared up for Big Ten Media Days. And Coach, as you do gear up for the season, like, I guess at what point do you know what you have whenever Big Ten Media Days or whatever media days are kicking off? Like, we're going to be asking plenty of questions of Matt Rule, of the Husker contingent. How much of an idea do you think Matt Rule has about the team that he has in place, and how much remains to be learned through the course of fall camp?
Well, I think during fall camp is a pretty important time. I think a lot of times, even your players kind of, I don't mean separate them in a bad way. I mean separate themselves in a good way. The guys, some guys will come back to camp and surprise you. I mean, and that's the thing that's exciting about it is, you come back and all of a sudden somebody that you kind of, didn't really count on to any great extent comes up to be big. And, you find out a lot too in that time who your team guys are. Because it's getting down to the, nitty gritty, and, it's time to step forward if you're going to do it. and there's some kids that, believe me, that are quiet and almost to the point where you call them followers that aren't really followers. I think that's what's exciting about it. There's that kid that maybe isn't, the loudest person in the world. Steps forward, grew up, matured just in that last 3 months or so, 4 months, and it becomes kind of interesting to see it develop and how it develops into team chemistry and things like that. That's the thing that I think, I remember in the Big Eight, every time they picked somebody, they didn't win it. And even though it was Oklahoma, and it kind of ended up being Oklahoma, Nebraska, but there was always that team like Missouri and, Kansas, was nobody picked Kansas, but, one year we played for the national championship in Kansas. We only beat Kansas by 1 point. So, yeah, you got to watch out what really is in front of you. And every game is, a championship game. Yeah, if you're going for the prizes, every game you have to win, and it's not just so you have to treat everybody the same. And that's kind of the thing that gets said when players start thinking, "Oh, we can beat these guys." It's not a good thing to think look at it that way. It's looking at how are we going to beat these guys, and and then things like that, and that's what's really, really, really important about this whole thing. I think the press going around, I think it gives them a chance to really see some of these players that they haven't seen before, and it gives them a little different outlook sometimes. And of course, when you have this many teams, I don't know how you look at it. I really don't. I know to try to separate everything and come up with a winner from the East and West, and then come up with a final guy. That's got to be a tough duty. I mean, it's a guessing game. It'll be centered around 6-8 schools that will surprise you.
Coach, you said a magic number there. You said 8. Sorry to interrupt you, but 8 is where Nebraska's picked on both the polls, the preseason picks. How does that sit with you? 8th out of 18. They're right in front of Iowa in one poll. They're in front of USC in the other. But I think the Big Ten certainly has 6 teams this year that can vie for a playoff spot. 3 to 4 will probably get in. But I think they're at least 8 deep with teams that could be knocking on that playoff door when we talk about November.
Well, here's the thing. How do the players react to that? Some guys will, look at it as a challenge, and it'll even step up. I don't know whether you want to call it the pressure or the, whatever the case is. Some kids will push harder. Some kids will find out, hey, wait a second. I don't want to be a bottom feeder. That's one thing I don't want to be. I want to be a winner, and that's done a lot of times. Coaches that we don't know in the league, can really turn this thing around and be a real damage to a lot of schools. And I'm looking at schools like, that say, Oregon's everything and, and SC or whatever, are great. And that game, like I said, it's every game. It's, SC is, they circled our game. Colorado did, Bill used to circle that game or something like that. But, you got to be careful because if you don't win it, and you circle it, sometimes it can you end up going backwards.
Charlie McBride's with us here, the Average Joe Sports Show. And Charlie, before we get you out of here, we got about 2.5 minutes left in this segment. Do you want to get your thoughts? It's the first chance for Dylan Raiola this week to be in front of the media contingent nationally. He's obviously spoken to local media, but this is his opportunity to get some national folks asking some questions. What do you want to hear from a starting quarterback whenever they're up in front of the big-time media like this? Obviously, there's going to be some important questions and some questions people meeting him for the first time. What type of demeanor, what do you want to hear from the starting quarterback?
Well, I think one of the things is, every time everybody wants to know the starting quarterback, about 90% of the time they're right. And about 90% of the time, it's the other players standing in the background that are wondering, why do they keep talking about the quarterback? We play here too. And that's why I think this program of these guys going around and the press people going around and getting the opportunity to see some other people, who else on this team is going to be, the quarterback is pretty much this guy. But what about the rest of them? What about, the defense? It's the same thing. I always used to say that defense, I was on both sides of the ball. And I can tell you, in all honesty, defense is a necessary evil. I mean, it's a way, it's kind of like, what's the offense going to do? What's the offense going to do? What's the offense going to do? And finally, you get teams like Georgia in the old days where they had the junkyard dogs, and some of those guys are in Indiana or Michigan when they had some really great defensive teams that people don't realize, how good they were when they whole season are only allowing 7 points a game and stuff like that. I mean, that's crazy. But you don't hear much about that. You want to hear how many yards the quarterback throw for and things like that. So players have a lot to live up to, and then they have a lot to fight for. And one thing is respect, and that probably is one of the biggest things there is. And I think how this pool players mingle and work with the other players on the team. And that can be a big factor, and if you bring in, a load every year, you have to be careful because there's some guys on your team that are good players, and you don't want to guess that this guy's going to come out to be better or worse. You got to go with what you see and be honest with yourself as a coach.
Charlie McBride, Coach, we appreciate you. It's so fun to talk with you again. I've missed doing it. We'll get connected next week, all right?
Well, we have enough teams to think about. That's for sure. So you really put the work to you. That's what it does.
That'll be good. Coach, we look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Nice to be with you again. Bye.
Flesh.
It's getting hot in here. It's hotter than hell.
It's hot.
Really, really, really hot.
Stay safe this summer with updates from KFOR.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800. With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month.
All-State, a 2-year starter for the Big Red and an NFL vet. The Blackshirt Hour continues with a not-so-average show. It's Jay Moore on the Average Joe Sports Show.
Rolling through a Monday here. It's the Blackshirt Hour on the Average Joe Sports Show. Elijah Herbel taking you through Schmidty en route to Vegas. We'll be hearing from him here in just a second. But welcome Jay Moore to the show. You can find him and follow him on Twitter at JMoore44. And you hear him with Big Red Wrap Up. And Jay, it's good to hear from you here on a Monday. How are you doing? We're getting all geared up for Big Ten Media Days.
Yeah, good to sit down with you and chat. Yeah, I can't believe it's already here. Practice starts next week for the boys. So, and that first game against Cincinnati is right around the corner. So that's what happens. 4th of July gets here and all of a sudden you blink and it's football season, but that's the best season.
Before we get into football season too much, Jay, it was the Open this weekend. Scotty Scheffler lifts the crown, and I think you're knowing where I'm going to go with this whenever I say Tiger Woods. They brought this up on the broadcast yesterday. The exact same number of days between major win number 1 and major win number 4 for both Tiger Woods and Scotty Scheffler. And the question has to be asked, we haven't seen anything like this run of dominance since Tiger, and maybe you don't bring it up because Tiger was just otherworldly. Off the course and on the course, his level of fame was unmatched, what he did for the game of golf. But man, whenever you look at his game, you got to start going back to one of the greatest ever in Tiger Woods before you find a guy who's had the level of dominance that Scotty's had over the game of golf recently.
Yeah, it's eerily similar. I'm not quite ready to take it there. I think, the social media likes to bring it up because we just haven't had anyone perform at this level since Tiger in majors. I think the stat was this was Scotty Scheffler's. He was going for his 10th win in a row when leading by 54 holes. So, but on the flip side of that Tiger did that 37 times. So I know, and it's not really apples to apples comparison yet, just because of the length of the career. Listen, he's always going to be in the picture going forward as long as he continues to play golf and stays healthy, which I think he will. I don't think he's going to be trying to become a Navy SEAL and do any crazy workouts like Tiger did back in his heyday. So I think his longevity will be there. He's such a level-headed individual. Golf's important, but it's not the only thing in his life. He has a great family. He's so mentally level-headed in life that's what's going to carry him really, really far in the game of golf. And obviously his ability to hit the golf ball where he wants it to go and then putt it in the hole in the fewest strokes possible is uncanny. And it's the best in the world right now. Carry it forward. Ryder Cup's yet this fall, and that's a big one at Bethpage Black in September. So you want to keep going so the USA can kind of get off the schneid with the Ryder Cup and perform well. I see the similarities. But he has a long way to go. And golf's a hard game. You never know what happens. But Tiger's ability to do it so well, so long, and 200 and some weeks in a row at number 1. I don't know if they'll ever get touched again. But if anyone's going to do it, I think it's Scotty Scheffler, just because of his mental, abilities and he's just playing so well right now.
And obviously he had that quote that went sort of viral last week about the fact that it's not the wins that I guess keep him coming back. He said he's winning with his family, but something that kind of fell under the radar, I think, a little bit was his comment in there about like the process and how like you win and you enjoy that for 10 minutes, but then it's right back to that same process whenever you get back on the course next week. And it's something you hear from a lot of high level athletes. I mean, LeBron James has said it before. You hear Matt Rule talking about it whenever he showed up at Nebraska, saying fall in love with the process and the process will fall you back. I think that's it's an important note there. Is it's not Scotty saying, man, it's not the game of golf that brings me fulfillment. I think he's saying like it's everything about it that I do, that it's not the wins that keep me coming back. I mean, I'm in love with the process and I keep on coming back for more. And there's everything else in my life that brings me fulfillment, not just going out there and winning, because winning comes and goes. It's everything else that's the constant.
Yeah, 100%. I think whether it's Scotty Scheffler, Tiger Woods, you look at Matt Rule, and there's the story. I mean, Nick Saban, I think Lane Kiffin told the story on a podcast here recently. They won the national championship. I don't know how many, one of the 6-7 times that Saban won a national championship at Alabama, but they had a team meeting. They had a coaches meeting, a staff meeting at 7:30 the next morning following them winning the national championship, because they had a recruit. And he's like, we're behind recruiting because we played so long into the bowl season and we're behind. So I think they're just people operate at a high level in sports. They are. I mean, it's very, very process driven. I've been out of football now for a while, but that's what I miss. I mean, I don't miss playing football. I don't. I mean, I don't miss the wear and tear on my body, but I do miss the process of getting ready for the season and those type of things, and the process during the weeks, the routines and things like that. I'm way down on the lower level compared to some other guys, whether it's Nick Saban or Scotty Scheffler, but it is the process. They love to work at it, and they like to see the rewards. And I think the most part for people that function at a high level is just the process of getting better every single day, 0.5%, 1%. That becomes very addictive. And then you see those rewards from the wins, or that just seeing yourself getting better. You want to do more. You want to work out harder. You want to hit balls longer. You want to recruit harder. You want to do all these little things to keep improving. And that's what at the inner self, I think, of all highly competitive individuals is just getting better. And he enjoys getting better. And he's going to continue to get better. And it's just kind of fun to see his process. And at such a early time in his career, I don't even know if he's been in the PGA Tour now for 5 years. I think he's maybe, but it's fun to watch.
It's Jay Moore with us here, a Blackshirt Hour on the Average Joe Sports Show. Schmidty and Dolman en route to Vegas. We'll be hearing from them here in just a second. But the news of the day, Jay, from this morning was that some Big Ten preseason media polls have dropped. Everyone loves the Cleveland.com poll. That features Nebraska in 8th. Nebraska in 8th is a pretty standard spot. It feels like that's where a lot of the national media seems to like Nebraska. It should be noted, Penn State also comes in first, Ohio State, Oregon, Illinois rounding out the top 4. But how do you feel with Nebraska coming in at 8? Well, what does that do for you? To me, it feels like the ultimate, we're not going to be too high on Nebraska. There's reason for optimism. So we'll put them in the top 10, but also if things fall apart and they don't get better in close games, well, at least we can sit back at the end of the year and say we didn't put them too high. It feels like that classic middle of the road, hedging your bets either way. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I could probably find, 6 teams to put ahead of them as of right now. So I have no problem with that. But yeah, that's a safe bet. I think they'll finish better than 8th in the league. I feel pretty confident about it that we have the key pieces finally assembled on the offensive staff, offensive side of the football. Defensively, there's a lot of great players coming back. I still have question marks on the D line, obviously, when you lose 2 really good players, but that's a safe pick. I mean, it's the media, whether it's the Cleveland or the AP or whatever it is, right? I mean, you have people that have their opinions, but this league is so big now with 18 teams now in it that you forget that you still have to include, Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA, and those teams are going to be better. And I think USC is going to be really improved as well this year going forward. So, I have no problem with it. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
And I do think they'll finish better than 8th. I think they'll have a shot to put their name in the hat at one point during the season to, have a chance at a Big Ten championship. Now, I don't think they'll make it there, but I think their hat will be in that ring of teams, heading into November that have a chance to solidify their spot in Indy and then hopefully make the college football playoff. But year 3, man, year 3s are always kind of the year that teams make their big jumps. Matt Rule's done it in previous spots at Temple and Baylor. Now he has a great opportunity to do it in Nebraska, and I don't think it's going to be any different. And it's not Kool-Aid. I just think that they're ready to make that jump. And I'm not saying it's 11-1, 12-0, but I think 8-4, 9-3 is very, very respectable and not getting too far over your skis and not blowing smoke up anybody's to achieve that. I think that's very, very realistic to have those expectations so far in 2025.
Is it too simplistic of me to boil it down to quarterback play? Because you look back at last year, we talked about this back in hour 1. I mean, if your quarterback's just a little bit better against Illinois, that's probably a win. I mean, he's 2 yards too deep on a pass to the end zone to Lindenmeyer, and if that's a touchdown, you likely win that game. You look at Ohio State, if you're a couple plays better there, maybe you win that football game. Iowa's another case of that. USC's another case of that. Like, is it too simplistic for me to say, man, if Nebraska gets a little bit more, they get a year 2 jump out of Dylan Raiola with the other pieces that you've talked about, that finishing better than 8th, maybe not a given, but very possible?
Yeah, he'll be better. He'll be vastly improved. I mean, you look at, the Iowa game, he was pretty darn good. I mean, they made one play. And obviously that the fumble late in the game was on Dylan, but they don't allow that long touchdown run, or a pass, whatever it was, to the running back. I mean, they win that football game. But yeah, I think that he'll be much better because the weapons around will be much better. You got a full year with Holgorsen. You got key pieces, additions on the offensive line, wide receiver, so on and so forth. The offense will be, I think it's going to be fun to watch this year. But yeah, I think anytime your quarterback improves, that's the most important position in football. I don't care. I know your offensive line and the defensive lines have to be you have to dominate. You have to be really, really good. But if your quarterback's really good too, I mean, you're going to win some football games.
It's Jay Moore with us here, the Average Joe Sports Show. The Blackshirt Hour continues here in hour 2. And Jay, before we get you out, last thought here, we're going to be sitting down with the Nebraska contingent out in Vegas. Do you have a question for Matt Rule you'd like us to pass along? If you got a question with Rule, what would you want to ask him at this point as we await fall camp, as we await game 1?
Oh my gosh, there'd be a few.
Lay him out.
I think handling. I think the first one is just handling expectations going to year 3. How do you do it? Because he's had success in other places going into year 3. Why is this different at Nebraska than Baylor and Temple, and just dealing with them? And he's always going to answer that great. I can almost tell you, I mean, it's like expectations are a privilege, right? You go to places that have high expectations, but dealing with those and handling the expectations in year 3 when you have a quarterback coming in and key additions to the offensive line and wide receiver room, full year with your OC. So dealing with those, and how do you get that across to your team as well, that, hey, this is year 3, and what's the main message you have going to your core group of guys into year 3, that if they start winning, how do you start dealing with those expectations again and the pressure and all those things? So that'd be one, I guess, but there's all sorts of things I would ask him, and see if his golf game's improved at all over the summer. But I've always told people I'm okay with a head coach that has a poor golf game. That means he's not playing too much as well. So, but yeah, I think just dealing with expectations year 3 is a great question to kind of start with. And if I was in Vegas.
It's Jay Moore with us here, a Monday edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. Jay, we'll let you get back to it. Appreciate your time on a Monday. Whenever we chat next week, we'll be talking about the start of fall camp. How about that?
Yeah, you bet. Sounds good. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Hi, this is Rich Ray, voice of the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Catch all the exciting action on Friday, July 25th as Lincoln plays at Fargo-Moorhead against the Redhawks. First pitch, 7:02 p.m. Coverage begins at 6:32 p.m.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Introducing TRT for Life at Limitless Mail. One upfront cost, and you're covered for life. No monthly bills, no surprise price hikes. But act fast. Only 20 TRT lifetime memberships per clinic. Pay one upfront cost at Limitless Mail, and your testosterone therapy is covered for life. Boost your energy, enhance performance, think more clearly, build muscle, and have more confidence. Sign up now at limitlessmail.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO77 to 32 32 32. GO77 to 32 32 32. GO77 to 32 32 32. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-2521. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results vary. Consult with your tax professional prior to enrollment.
Hey, it's Bill Hooks and YZ from the Morning Hookup. Coming up on a Tuesday in the Morning Hookup. We'll welcome back.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Back with you here on the Average Joe Sports Show, live at Mandalay Bay. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. Lots of jokes being made about conjoining rooms and Dolman lurking in the shadows. Pride of Fairbury has landed. I'm going to let him guide me around Vegas tonight. Black Hills Brennan, happy birthday or belated birthday, partner. He wants me to go knock on the neighbor's door and run away. like all the travel baseball kids used to do before the hotel manager finally lost it. That's funny. That's pretty good. I sound low. Am I better?
I'm working on it. You do sound a little low. Can you tap your mic for me real quick?
Yeah, did I screw things up here?
No, you should be good. It's you do sound a little low though.
Okay. Well,
let me work on that. You can keep on talking here. I got it.
Better now. We'll see.
Yes.
Okay, good to have Duck in. Good to have Game Dog, Tiger Shark, QB1 Ace. All the folks. Bill Dolman is in. Captain is here. Love it. And Ben here. Cincinnati Reds 21. Was asking about that, or touching on what Charlie was talking about, that 93 game against KU where 2-point conversion was screwed up by KU and Nebraska won 21-20. So there we go. Elijah, you fired up? Doesn't it feel like we're here for football?
Oh, it's like this is the week where you feel it, where you go, okay, here we go. It's football season now. We get a chance to sit down with everybody. A couple of long days, but I mean, the team's going to have plenty of long days through fall camp, so it's only right that the media gets a couple of long days right alongside with them. But it's here. It didn't like the Big 12 media days, SEC media days. That was the ramp up process. Now it's like, okay, we're going to get through the Big Ten previews. I'm sure we'll be getting into some schedule previews here before too long. I mean, record predictions. I know Mark talked about it over the weekend. We'll be getting into record predictions the next coming weeks here on the Average Joe Sports Show. It's hurry up and wait time now, where we've been waiting, But now it's like, all right, hurry up and get here. It's football season. We'll get all the press conferences coming out of fall camp, weekly updates. Who could forget the scrimmage reports after Saturdays where you go, okay, what did we hear about the scrimmage this week? Who was in attendance? Who wasn't? Who was playing? Who was starting? Who looked good? It's all here. It's that time of year that you really wait for. I love the month of August because it's that one side of it's like the, oh my God, can you get here already? But also the anticipation knowing it is pretty much here. It's both somehow the most exciting and the longest month of the year, the month of August.
Listen, and Tiger Shark says who's representing at Big Ten Media Days. You have Dylan, Lutoski, and Singleton. Those are the two 6-year guys and your sophomore quarterback that started every single snap for the most part as a true freshman. Couple of things to hit on, and it will be focused on tomorrow. We'll talk about it. We'll hear from him. What are internal expectations? What's reality for this second season for Dylan Raiola? Do you try and do too much? Do you manage what's in front of you? Do you make some plays? We all think growth is a certainty, but just how much? So there's that. The national media will touch on that. Dylan is a very capable quarterback, and very few in the media, though, right now are talking about him in the same breath as some of the other quarterbacks. I mean, you have our friend Mitch Sherman with The Athletic and his co-workers. They put out their quarterback tiers over the weekend. Not TEARS, but quarterback tiers. And listen, Dylan's kind of in that fourth group where, yeah, the guy's got some arm talent, but can he go do it? The other guy that I'm interested in, who's been here a long time? Who's seen about everything? Who's won jobs, lost jobs, been dinged, came back from injury? Henry Lutoski.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that you're looking at left guard, and he's a guy you're looking at right tackle.
And it was something we talked about with Tim back in hour one, the fact that he's going to be at Big Ten Media Days. There's always a little bit of intent with who Matt Rule brings to Media Days, and Lutovsky was not the first guy that came to mind, but I think you lay out some of the reasons. Like, whenever I thought, okay, who is going to be the stalwart, the leader of the offensive line, I think Rocco is the first guy that comes to mind. We talked to him. He has all the hallmarks of the leader you want in your offensive line, but you look at the entire career of Lutovsky, his ability to bounce back. As you say, he's won jobs, he's lost jobs, he's stayed steady throughout all of it. Not to mention that offensive line mantra under Coach Donnie has been speak softly and carry a big stick. And I feel like that's Lutovsky to a T. Is he going to go up there and make bold claims and talk a lot at media days? No, absolutely not. He lets his work do the talking for him. That pick on its face felt a little bit like, okay, that's the offensive line.
It shows the importance of how it shows what you want represented in your offensive line.
Exactly it. The more I think about it, the more I go, okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
It's a message. It's an absolute message. It's like a guy named Musa Rocco down at the casino, making you leave the casino floor, casino movie style with your head, right? That's what Lutovsky kind of represents to me, with his perseverance, his talent, but his just brute force. Like, that's what this offensive line is going to be known for if they're successful, and he's going to be the embodiment of that. You can absolutely go with Rocco, but from a holistic standpoint, you go with the guy that's been here from day one going on 6 years. And he's super important because of what he represents and the role he's going to play on that left side of the offensive line, or maybe even at right tackle.
Well, and the thing is at the end of the day, if you only have one leader on your offensive line, you're not going to have a very good offensive line. This isn't a symbol of, Henry's the leader. No, you need to have multiple guys, not just in the offensive line, but in any position group. Multiple leaders, guys that can bring the younger guys along. There's plenty of young bodies in that offensive line room, but you look elsewhere on the team. I mean, Deshaun Singleton, is he a guy that's been at Nebraska for forever? No. Is he the guy you think of as maybe being the leader? No, maybe not. But you need to have multiple guys on every single level, offensively and defensively, that can be leaders. It's what you need to talk about. As we talked about back in hour one, like getting over the hump in close games. It's leadership. It's guys leading from the front. It's your best players, not just being your best players, but being the guys that are going to bring everyone along with them as well. So, like, if Henry's the only leader in the offensive line group, you're going to have some issues. You need to have multiple guys. And if Henry's one of those guys, I think Rocco needs to be a leader. Justin Evans needs to be a leader. Guys that have played a lot of football for you or for elsewhere, other teams, they all need to lead from the front for this football team. And I think we've talked about it before. The offense might not be a run-first offense, but it will be an offensive line-first offense.
I'll say this. You have two guys in Rocco and in Lutoski that have persevered through their careers. You've got a situation where you had Spindler have to fight back from injury. He detailed with us. You've got Lutoski that's done the same. It isn't going to all be roses on the offensive line for this football team.
And Pritchett's another guy that
handle the adversity. And Singleton is also that for me. The guy gets cheap shotted to hell against Michigan, and he battles back, and he had 71 tackles last year. I think that guy can be really, really good for Nebraska in the back end. I love his game. I think he's physical, smart football player, and he's finally healthy. He's confident. So good group for Nebraska. We'll have them in front and center for you live from Big Ten Media Days. We'll wind down a Monday here with the Average Joe Sports Show.
Make hauling easy with the MWC Park Can Easy Dump. This satellite dumper goes where big garbage trucks can't and can haul everything from trash to yard waste to recycling. The fully automatic Easy Dump fits in the back of a standard pickup truck, so there's no need for a CDL license. Perfect for alleys, gated communities, condos, parks, anywhere. Come see the Easy Dump yourself at MWC Can in Lincoln, or go to MWC-can.com today.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Snacks, check. Dad Rock playlist, double check.
And getting this new car, stress-free thanks to Members Own.
Woo, let's hit the road.
It feels good to know our credit union is with us for the ride.
Yep, Members Own helped us get further financially. And you might say, now we're cruising down Easy Street.
Wait, are we actually going to Easy Street?
We are now. Accelerate your savings with an auto loan from Members Own Credit Union. Go to membersowncu.org/Easy Street for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
I'm Siniqua Martin Green, and when my mother was diagnosed with cancer, our world changed forever. This experience made me so passionate about spreading awareness of treatment options, including clinical trials. I'm joining Stand Up to Cancer to get information to those who have been diagnosed with cancer and their loved ones. Clinical trials introduce new hope for patients, providing access to cutting-edge new treatments. Talk to your doctor to see if the clinical trial may be the best choice for you or a loved one. To learn more, visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials today.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart.
Miss anything today? You can always find the full show online. Just search for the Average Joe Sports Show wherever you get your podcasts. Now, let's get back to the show. Here are Chris Schmidt and Elisha Herbel.
Nice of the Pride of Fairbury to not knock and pop by the room. Vegas, our venue, as we're here for Big Ten Media Days. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman going to be on site here tomorrow and Wednesday. It's a bit of a blur still. I'm trying to get the rust knocked off from last week being gone. But no, plenty of Nebraska coverage, plenty of Nebraska thoughts as Matt Rule and a contingent of Huskers. Also plenty of insight with Indiana and Illinois and Ohio State tomorrow, Rutgers and Maryland as well. Maybe we'll bump into Coach Loxley at the blackjack table tonight, get some pointers from him. Maybe we can figure out a way to the sports book, Elijah, and put some future bets down. Jay Bird, our Jay Bird Erickson, mayor of O Street, is giving me some hot baseball tips because he's been winning money, cashing checks apparently back home.
Well, what is on your docket tonight, Schmidt? Do you have any firm plans in place? Is it 1 or 2 hours behind us here in Lincoln?
It's 2. So I got a 4 a.m. wake-up call for KFOR Lincoln's morning news tomorrow.
Schmitty, it's Vegas. Waking up at 4, just stay awake, buddy.
Well, point is I got to get to bed at some point, so I'm good to go. I'm going to go scout out where the hell I need to be tomorrow during the day. I'll probably see you tomorrow morning on the KFOR morning show, 6 o'clock your time with Carol from here for at least 2/3 of the show.
Okay. And then you'll get yourself set up. That's worked. I think you should just have a daiquiri in hand at all times. You can just walk down the street with those things. Schmitty, I'm surprised you don't have a daiquiri in hand yet.
I've been drinking water. I was worried my voice was going to flake last night, but I'm healthy. I'm fine. I've got plenty of meds. Bill says that the Mike Tyson's tiger is going to visit my room. There we go. How about you? Are you leaving the studio or are you just hunkering down?
I am sleepy already. I should really get off to bed. I don't know. I got sent home. I was at a wedding over the weekend, and I've been on a diet, but the problem is I got sent home with a ton of leftover wedding food. That's all in my fridge right now. So
good.
It's
meatballs?
Good. It's bad. No meatballs. We had some let's see, a lot of tiramisu, some lemon almond cake. Got myself a whole bunch of, is it carbonara? Some carbonara. Tons of wedding food currently sitting in my fridge, which is I kind of meal prep, so I have just ridiculous amounts of food in my fridge right now. So I think go take a chunk out of that wedding food. I've been listening to Project Hail Mary, the audiobook. It's being turned into a movie soon, so I've been listening to that. Might dive into that audiobook a little further. A boring night for a man who is 26 years old. I'm acting like I'm 50. Leftovers and audio.
I'm going to go see where the bunny cut her teeth dancing away. I'm kidding. Love you, dear. we always have to get the old shot in at the wife. All right, back at you tomorrow with the Average Joe Sports Show live from Big Ten Media Days. Talk to you here in about 24 hours.